because we're focusing on this critical intersection of mental health and the whole area of student success. And we'll use lots of examples here in Tennessee, but clearly this applies around the country and around the world. I've been blessed in many ways to be a part of the teams and founder of two organizations that are sponsoring this today. One is SCORE, the State Collaborative on Reform of Education, that most of you know about, now about 12 years old. And the whole realm of NashvilleHealth, that voice of God that you heard. You'll be meeting Mark Yancey over the course of the morning, who runs that. And it's about a 7-year-old organization that focuses in Middle Tennessee on social determinants of health, health and well-being of the population itself, bringing the health world and the mental health world and the education world together. And that's where we are today. The data on mental health for youth is dire. It's a word that you'll see in the reports. It's a word that I'll come back to here shortly. Young people today are just living in a different world than I did, or even from 10 years ago, a world more full of anxiety, a world more full of depression, a world more full, and it's statistical, I'll cite some of them here shortly, with thoughts or ideation around suicide. Not just a little bit worse, but a lot worse. And at the same time, we want to achieve that goal of giving them the best opportunity through education and their environment to be as successful as they can possibly be. We want to find hope today. So this isn't a depressing day. This is a day of hope. It's connecting dots, things that work, to be able to share, to accelerate, to affirm, to shine a light on, to do more research on. We'll come back to that word of research. And we want to elevate those spots of hope in the dialogue, and there'll be a lot of discussion and panels to do that, connecting those dots between education and mental health and maximizing, focusing on kids and themselves. As you're walking in today, you might have experienced one bright spot, the first bright spot that I saw, because you were greeted by Sergeant Bo and Officer Faye Okert. And are they in the room now? Oh, right here. You have to stand up or get up on all four paws, however we do it. And a round of applause for Officer Okert and Sergeant Bo for welcoming us. Indeed, they will. There we go. They'll be with us today, and you'll feel it in the room. It's a calming influence. It's a remarkable connection between the human spirit and the animal spirit, and you'll feel that is reflected in them. Bo is a 3-year-old pit bull terrier mix, was rescued from a Florida animal shelter and was obviously chosen to be a therapy dog, and indeed has been just that. Officer Okert and Sergeant Bo visit classrooms all across Davidson County, bringing that sense of centeredness, of calm, of serenity, that we're going to get through this. Everything's going to be okay. And it's really almost magical. It's mystical, magical, but it's very real. And I did want to recognize them. They've played an especially important role following the Covenant School unimaginable tragedy from just over a year ago. So today we're gathered with a shared sense of urgency, a shared sense of purpose. Education can continue supporting the bright spots in this dire, I'll come back to that issue, surrounding and impacting so many people today. We're going to hear today of approaches and programs that are supporting our students, all students, but our in particular most vulnerable students. The challenges facing our students' mental health today has, as I said, never been more pressing. And from the hallways of the schools from which so many of you come to the state capitol here in Nashville, the need for action, the need for change, for improvement is clear, and it's compelling. A challenge out there, and a challenge that's growing day by day. A few statistics: rates of depression and anxiety among American adolescents jumped by more than 50% over the last 10 years. And those numbers were stable before that, but now they're accelerating over the last decade. The suicide rate for kids between 10 and 14 tripled between 2007 and 2021. Tripled, according to the CDC. The share of high school girls who seriously considered attempting suicide jumped from 19% in 2011 to 30% in 2021. So today we will zoom in on Tennessee to unpack what this crisis really looks like at the organic level, what we can do about it here in Middle Tennessee, in our state, and in the country. According to the latest State of the Child report from the Tennessee Commission on Children and Health, Tennessee ranked among the top 20 states in the rate of suicides among ages 9 to 17, and in the top 10 in the country in the rate of firearm suicides among the same ages in 2011. Since 2017, all measures of suicide ideation have increased among Tennessee high school students. In 2021, more than 1 in 5 students reported within the last year they had seriously considered taking their life. More than 1 in 6 had made a specific plan of how to do so, and nearly 1 in 7 had attempted to end their life. It's heartbreaking. It's staggering, almost overwhelming, but that's not what we're about today, because we're going to listen at what can be done. But the bottom line is today, and this is our call to action, is that our children right now are not okay. Over the course of this symposium, we'll collaborate on this really gut-wrenching, this huge, this enormous challenge. We will delve into the research and data. I think all of you know that both NashvilleHealth and SCORE always come back to the data. And if the data is not good, get better data in order to have that platform from which to act. We'll examine the systemic barriers. We'll examine the disparities out there today that impact our students' mental well-being. And then we're going to explore, and we'll go deep today and even deeper in the future, the potential solutions and unique evidence-based, again coming back to the data, the evidence-based programs. We'll keep underscoring the importance of research and citing areas where we need more research and more data. We'll hear from the experts and the practitioners, sharing what works, but also their innovative strategies as they look to the future. During all this today, we'll realize, and I realize, and I think we need to come to the room and be realistic, that we're just going to be scratching the surface. But that's okay, because that's where we start. That's where that platform is developed. We're purposely casting a wide net. We didn't want to focus on just one aspect. We wanted to bring the entire problem to the table and address it in a systematic and a disciplined way. But it's going to feel like a fairly wide net. As I mentioned, we'll not be making specific policy recommendations. Some will slip in, but the purpose of today is to pull it all together and establish that platform. Through the symposium, we hope to honor the real-life experiences of students today, not just at the academic level, not just at the policy level, but the real life of students and what they can do, what their responsibility is, but what they can do as part of addressing the challenges and coming up with answers to the problems. Students are on the forefront of our efforts. We will listen and learn from cutting-edge research and evidence-based policies and practices in how we can best support those students in this landscape. And we'll learn together, and we'll explore better ways for us to connect, in new ways that we connect as we meet in many cases, each other for the first time. As we set out on this journey this morning, let's be guided throughout with an aura or a feeling of an expression of that, of empathy, of compassion and understanding, putting ourselves where others are coming from, but also of determination and of focus. The research is so critically important. The breaking down of barriers is so fundamental to support our students. Reducing the stigma of mental health today so that we can talk about it in order to digest and formulate action items as we look to the future. So in closing, thank all of you for joining us in this start of a future and crucial conversation. I'm really confident that we can make a meaningful difference here in Tennessee and around the country, and that we can leave, not just today, but at the continuation of our efforts, we're going to be able to ensure that students will have the support they need to thrive. At this juncture, again, what a beautiful place and a wonderful place to be able to convening. At this juncture, I would ask that Dr. Candace McQueen, president of Lipscomb, come forward and share remarks. And to Dr. McQueen, from my part and from the part of really everybody in this room, thank you for stepping forward, providing the place today, and really all of your leadership, both currently and in the past, in education. Join me in welcoming the person who's going to welcome us, Dr. Candace McQueen.